Hey everyone, it's Ed over here at Talk Truly. I am at Area 52 Studios in Ringgold, Georgia, is where we film our podcast. If you don't know, uh, we'll talk more about that in the future. But today I have Jessil Joseph with Lawnpride. Now, funny story here. I met Jessil because I actually needed your service, and I have to say that now whenever I show pictures of the before and after my yard, people are like, "You're making me look old," because now I'm that old guy that is watching his grass grow. And I blame you, Jessel, for aging me, for making me care about what my grass looks like because it's beautiful now. Even my teenage stepdaughters are going like, "That looks like carpet." But before we get into all that, I want to know about Jessel. Where are you from? What brought you to Chattanooga? You know, tell
Thank
me
you.
everything.
Thank you, Ed, for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. What, long story short, I'll make it quick.
We got 28 minutes.
That's right.
Please take your time.
Yes. So I, I came here in 2000 to Tennessee Tech, here in Cookeville, Tennessee, to do my master's. And what brought me here is I wanted to work at someday for NASA. That brought me from all the way from India here. I was a mechanical engineer that came over from India. Once I finished schooling or master's, completed the master's, I started working for Cummins Diesel Power, and then moved to Indiana. Indianapolis was where I was located at. And then, long story short, we always wanted to come back to Tennessee. And then 20 some years later, I'm back here in Tennessee.
So, you were an engineer. Now, mind you, I had another podcast with a home inspector that was an engineer and decided, if you really want to be an engineer, be an engineer. But it seems like engineers are like becoming other things as well. So what made you switch from being an engineer to Lawnpride?
Yeah, absolutely. I was an engineer for a long time, and as we moved our our manufacturing facilities overseas, the engineering roles reduced quite a bit, and then that brought the opportunity for me to be on the commercial side. And then I worked on the commercial side for a long time, and then worked for a startup company based out of California. And as a startup company, they go through funding phases. In one of the phases, they had a seed funding. They wanted to move me to California, and I thought was at that time a great opportunity, but it didn't work out so well. And that led me to kind of look at long term, where I want to dictate where I want to be, and we wanted to be in Tennessee, so we moved to Tennessee.
Wow. Now, Lawnpride, did you start it because you were a customer first?
Yes, that's correct. So how Lawnpride came about was when I worked for Cummins, I traveled a lot during one phase of my life, and then I needed somebody to take care of my grass, and Lawnpride was around there. And what's unique about Lawnpride, when I looked at other vendors in Lawnpride company, they had so much pride in what they do, and in lawns. And it's just funny. I tell the story is that during 5 years, the first 5 years when I was traveling heavily, I only called them 2 times. One, just set up an account. Second, change my credit card. They did so perfect that I never had to call them. And so when I was looking for what do I need to do as a business down here, I evaluated multiple franchises and self-starting businesses. I chose Lawnpride because of the processes and the people that work at Lawnpride.
The one thing the South's good at is growing grass.
Absolutely.
That's one thing we have down pat,
Absolutely.
Good food and growing grass.
Yes. And growing grass, Tennessee is, we're at the we have a great challenge. We have,
Really?
yeah, we're kind of in the transition zone in America where we have the cool season grass and the warm season grass, and it's a challenge. And there's lots of yards that have the mix of both, and we work with the customer to, sometimes it's more educational on how to tackle both types of grasses, because uh, the lady of the house likes one grass sometimes, and the man of the house likes a different grass, and we accommodate what the types of grasses in the home.
I'll be honest with you. I've never been like, oh, well, I have to have this type of grass or that type of grass. I've always been like, it's time to cut again.
Yes.
But on my yard in particular, we had construction going on in the back part of our lawn, and they tore it up. They tore it up really well. I mean, there was divots and tracks in our yard, and it kind of exposed that we had rocks everywhere and all that. So it's taken a little TLC to bring it back up. I mean, in fact, you and I were just talking about this earlier, looking at pictures. The before picture was all these tracks just going through and brown, 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 brown. And then the latest picture I took of our lawn, I actually sent to you like in a group text of some people that we knew. And I think you probably got some business out of it because it was so pretty. And then you called me up and said, hey, Lawnpride wants you to use your, yard. I'm going like, I guess, you must have did something right.
Absolutely. I remember the last year where around about this time when we had this conversation, you were not a complete believer because you had a lot more weeds in the yard, and I remember saying that it'll probably take a year, and we'll have a good overseeding activity in the fall, and I'll make it picture perfect and like a green carpet. And I remember that saying to you.
Is that you're doing it in a roundabout way of saying "I told you so"?
It could be.
Oh, that's the energy I'm feeling right now. I
Absolutely.
just say "I told you so."
Absolutely. We take pride in that.
You're sitting back laughing, going like, "Yeah, yeah, it's really bad. Just wait, hold my beer." But that's what you did. I mean, when you came out, you were really scientific about it. I mean,
Absolutely.
and it's an art to where my next door neighbor, I have one neighbor that, some great neighbors, but I have one neighbor that, we don't socialize with as much. They have a little child, compared to everybody. So they're inside a lot more, you know, but instead of him asking me who did our yard, I finally get to see him outside and talk to him. He goes, "Man, your yard's looking so good. I have to do something to mine now. My wife's getting mad at me. I got to do something in my yard." And then my other neighbors going like, "Man, you made me step up my game now. I didn't realize." And this is what it's like being an adult, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well,
Adult, and I'm getting old. I'm wanting grass to grow.
yes, absolutely. So we follow a very strict process. We're process-oriented guys. Now that's the engineer in me and speaking a little bit. When we come and meet with you, we work out what your expectations are. We take notes of what your expectations are, and we kind of put together a program that'll work just for your yard. And because of our capabilities with our machines and our van, we can tailor our programs to every individual customer. So that's kind of what you experienced on your end when we sat with you and discussed what your program will be. So we look at a combination of fertilizing, weed control, soil conditioning, moisture management. I know these are so much technical terms, and our goal is to eventually make that turf look like a green carpet.
It really is.
Yes, and so we kind of look at weather patterns. We'll look at what time of the year it is where the insects activities are, predominantly pretty active. We take care of the products that make sure that we're highly focused on the grass. That's what we do. We're highly focused on the grass. We want to grow the grass, make it to a healthy turf.
Yeah, it's kind of funny is all the little ruts that were there before, and I took it upon myself to start like getting topsoil, getting all this stuff, and I'm not just getting anything. I'm going like, well, if I'm going to be putting dirt down or any kind of soil down in these patches, I'm going to manure, then like topsoil, then organic soil. I mean, I was telling someone the other day, and they're going like, man, your lawn will be like the healthiest lawn ever with just the soil that you're putting down. But then on top of, I'll be honest with you. When you were talking about the seeding, I'm going like, then a couple of weeks later, it was like, wow, this is really amazing.
Yes.
To where I'm kind of looking forward to fall for our next seeding, because I know the places where, it's still, because it takes time. It's
Right.
not like, it's not overnight. It's not done. You told me a couple of years is what you told me.
Yes.
You give us a couple of years and your lawn's going to look beautiful, and it's already looking beautiful. And I feel bad because I'm going like, well, this is going to be better. I'm being picky. I'm going, this is going to be better. So the first year made all this looks good. The second year is going to make this look good. Again, Jessil, I curse you about making me think about our grass.
And that's what we want to do here in Chattanooga. We want to raise the quality of the turf. That's the one passion about us, is we want to raise the quality of the turf. So we, as we cut down trees and we have turf, we want to make sure there's no soil erosion, and a good quality turf helps in preventing soil erosion, and that's what we. And you're one of the best customers that are collaborating. We talked about the products. You talked about what you as a customer should be doing, like watering, mowing regularly, making sure where there are divots, you fill back with soil. Those are things you did, partnership with us, and that's the result. It's partnership. If you don't mow regularly or you don't water regularly, then no matter what we do, we are looking at it's like a chance, tossing a coin and seeing how it's gonna fall, and it's unpredictable at that time.
Yeah, I find myself on a weekly basis telling my wife, okay, we need to go pick up some soil. More? Yeah, we need to go pick up some soil, because, we have the front yard looking good. The backyard, we had resodded from that project. Now we have the side yard that I'm going to eventually start paying a little bit more attention on. But, the part where everybody, when you're, just walking in my cul-de-sac or driving up, you see that luscious green lawn, it's really close to perfection right now. I can't wait for it to be seeding. Again, I curse you, because now
You don't have to curse me. You
it's
just have to
become my new obsession.
enjoy the turf, right?
I'm enjoying the turf, but man, it's becoming an obsession. That's my problem. But I am that guy who competes with everything. I'm like, oh, your yard's green? Well, watch, I'm gonna have a greener yard.
Right.
And it's funny, we'll be talking to a realtor soon, but she does a lot of commercial stuff. But I'm gonna ask her, does the appearance of a yard make a difference to a realtor? Because to me, it feels like it's the icing on the cake.
Absolutely, it makes a big difference. In the real estate market, it brings a great when a customer comes in to buy a house or check a house, if the yard's not green enough, that's the first step. You set the stage for a bad experience.
You're right. So having a beautiful green lawn is a good first impression. So when they're
Right.
walking into a home, they're going like, wow, and it just keeps on going. So yeah, I could totally see that. It's like, you having this amazing present wrapped in like a grocery sack, you know.
Right.
You don't want that. You want that nice bow and everything like that. That's what the yard does. Now, one thing that I was thinking about when it comes to building the yard, and if somebody had questions, like when does somebody need to call someone like you, like Lawnpride, to come look at their yard? I mean, you have people that will do it voluntarily, but if somebody was looking at their yard and they saw this, then it might be a good time to talk to you because it's really not that bad.
Right.
You know, uh, One of the fears that I've always had with having a company, whether it's Lawn Pride or any other company like that, I'm going like, man, that's for rich people. That's kind of bougie. It's a little too much for me. It wasn't.
No, it's not, and that's what we are excited about. We want to partner with the community. We always invite people to call us anytime. Anytime is a good time. Now, depending on which month it is and which type of grass you have, the journey to making it the best yard it depend on the timing, would depend on which month it is. Like, for example, if you had a cool season grass like fescue, you call us now, it would take a little bit more work for us to say, like, would it be 4 applications before we see a big difference? Versus a warm season grass like Bermuda, now is the time. You call us now, we can make quick changes and go. So it depends on the timing of the year, of how soon we can bring that impact to your yard.
Now, what's your favorite grass to deal with?
I don't have I like all grasses, but I have a little slight partiality to fescue because I like to have it a little bit more greener all throughout the year. So I tend to prefer fescue.
Yeah, originally I'm from Louisiana, where it's Bermuda everything. And it always felt like a webbing of grass on your lawn, not just like individual blades of grass. Because if you just pull the blades, like a whole section would come up.
Yes, right. And
Because it just mingles whatever.
yes, absolutely. It spreads very well. Um, it- the but in the winter season,
It's brown.
it's brown, and then that's when you get the most weeds because weeds just don't need much of a space. Any space, weeds are coming.
Yeah. Now, whenever, like, for example, I live in a huge subdivision. Shout out to Hurricane Creek. But
Nice neighborhood.
it's a very nice
Nice
neighborhood.
neighborhood.
And I have to say that, the one thing that I love about our neighborhood, they're very involved in everything they do. So like when you go to someone's house and if they have a neighborhood like that, do you like do stuff for our neighborhood? You know, so what I'm saying is, what kind of deal you're going to give my neighborhood, coming to our neighborhood? Do you do stuff like that?
Absolutely. We can we constantly work with people who are like yourself, passionate about your neighborhoods, and we can work something out. Over time. Yes.
So like if you're spending a day in a neighborhood and you're basically going from lawn to lawn, you know, does that cost anything when you're just talking, giving a consultation?
Anytime we come out, there's a cost to it. There's cost from my side, but
Oh,
we
yeah,
don't
well,
we
no,
don't
talk
charge
about
the
to the
customer. We
yeah,
don't
no,
charge
so no cost
no cost to the
consultation.
customer. It's
So
a free consultation.
free consultation, so they could call you up and go like, hey, you're in the neighborhood, why don't you swing by,
Yeah,
take a look at
absolutely.
my patch of dirt,
Yes.
because you look, I have one neighbor, not it's not next door, but they had some work done on some drainage or something like that. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going like, I know what they're gonna have to do to repair their yard, and I know the frustrations,
Yes.
and every time I pass it, I'm going like, oh, now it's this, Now it's going to be that. Now it's going to be this. And I'm going like, again, who knew that same kid that was telling his parents he didn't want to cut the grass this week, can I wait to cut it next week? Now is when they're like, oh, well, I need to cut the grass weekly.
Yes.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, we can do consultations. We also partner very closely with the industry, landscapers, mowers. There's lots of mowers and landscapers that do high quality job that are kind of like looking for high quality. We could do consultations, help the customer in making the right choices.
Joe, the guy who does my lawn. In fact, I introduced you guys during the text.
Yes.
And he's checking with you on everything and coordinating everything with you. And to be honest with you, he was very complimentary about our yard. He goes, man, I remember when I first started cutting your grass, you had all these issues, but man, this yard is looking good.
Right.
But, again, it's a constant home ownership. Is just a constant thing of just working projects. I was telling my wife that, we're working every day on when we sell the house. We're not selling the house.
Right.
But when
someday
when you sell it, it's going to be all these little things that you're doing.
Makes a difference.
And that, again, the wrapping paper on the present is that yard. And I'm going to, I know the realtor that, I'm going to be talking to. I know she's here right now. She's probably going like, oh, I got to get grass questions in my thing now. She's probably laughing. But, I'm looking forward to that. So if people, what's your turnaround from when they call you and contact you to you coming out?
We try to do within 24 hours that we contact the customer and work with the customer on the schedule side of things.
Now, for you personally, for Lawnpride, what is your coverage area?
So we work from Cleveland, the Saudi Daisy, all the way up to Dalton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a big footprint right there.
Right.
I love Cleveland.
And we use lots of software. That's kind of keeps us pretty efficient.
Yeah. I mean, I'm constantly getting texts. Hey, we're going to be here, just letting you know. And then after they come, they're always customer service is above and beyond. Then again, I see you everywhere. So if I ever have like a question, I never have a complaint.
Right.
It's always a question, and I have to say that every time you've educated me on every little thing that, I know way too much more about grass than I ever thought I would.
Right. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to create a remarkable experience for the customer. And we want to bring that high quality service and best customer support. And I'm thankful that you just mentioned those, which we are trying to do. Now, every day we're trying to improve on it. We're bringing online so many tools that make that accomplish much more easier. But that's kind of where we are going with this.
Everything is automated now.
Right.
And to be honest with you, because, knowing when something is going to happen, getting that text before and the follow-up text afterwards, is a big deal.
Yes.
And I'm kind of proud that whenever I sent you a picture of my it was a big, like I said, a big group text that I sent a picture of my yard to thank you. Someone immediately right after going like, hey man, what's your number?
Right. Absolutely.
Hopefully you got business from it. We never know.
Absolutely. We did. We always get business from referrals. Happy customer refers us, and our number one, referral, our lead generator number one is from customer referrals. Mm-hmm. It's so tough nowadays to start a business with lots of expenses on digital marketing and all those kind of marketing tactics. So we're grateful that we have an awesome program and most of the customers refer us.
We live in a world where sales are not sales, they're relationships.
Absolutely.
What can I do to get you into this lawn today? All that's gone. And, But here's probably the most important question. If somebody was trying to get in touch with you, how would they do it?
Call us on our number.
Well,
It's 423-468-5425. And we're available 24/7.
all right. So I am calling that number at 2:00 in the morning, and I'm going to test you out
Yes.
on that. Now, are you on?
Now, I might be sleeping, but one of our associates will be there to answer the question.
And whenever I talk to him, I'm going like, Jessil told me to call.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Can you
and
connect
test.
me to him?
Yes.
Now, are you on Facebook?
Yes, we're on Facebook.
No, what's your Facebook page?
Good. It's Lawnpride of East Chattanooga.
Lawnpride of East Chattanooga.
That's right.
You know, so this podcast is going to be on TalkTruly.com. So if, always encourage people to like and subscribe, because you're going to be getting people like Jessil. You'll be getting people like Moni. You have all the people that will be coming on here that could help you out in what you do every day. They could answer questions. You might have something that you've been wondering about, and then all of a sudden you see it on the podcast, and you're going like, well, that makes sense now. And if there's a question, you know what? You could comment on the podcast, and I guarantee the people that we're interviewing on the podcast, they're monitoring those podcasts. Why? Because, this is really a good outlet to, to talk about what you do, because you said it's all about getting to know everybody. And this is one way to get to know people.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you again for joining us on the podcast. TalkTruly.com. If you're wanting to tell people how to get to our podcast quickly, TalkTruly.com. Soon to be on TikTok as well, under Truly Ed as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Again, I'm going to say it over and over, like and subscribe. And until next time, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.